Some small moves, too. We'll get into it next week. I saw the White Sox picked up Benifacio, and we'll talk about some of that here coming on. But Jeff Gorman, later on this week, you and I have to meet back here again and preview some NFL playoffs on Friday, divisional round action. And so you and I aren't done this week.
That's right. It's going to be a lot of fun. See the four teams that made it through and see if they can go up against the real heavy hitters, the pretty much perennial consensus favorites that have been waiting through the bye week to get their chance to play this week. It's going to be fun.
It's all the elite pitchers, too, man. I'll tell you. Yesterday, we talked about it a bit on the show with Dan Wismar, and then when I went off, I went and looked up what he said, and I was like, quarterbacks. I went and looked at we were just talking baseball for an hour. Forgive me. But
right.
all the elite ones are the ones that are left, man. For everybody that's, it's not like you pluck them off of trees, man. They're not easy to find, and the ones that do have them, surprise, surprise, they're all the teams that are still hanging around. All right, we'll talk about that on Friday. You have a good week, my friend, and we will get ready to do the playoff thing on Friday.
Sounds good, J.R. Thank you very much for having me.
You got it. My man, Jeff Gorman from Indians101.com. You guys check him out on Indians101.com. He's here every Tuesday talking baseball, and he's here on Fridays talking football. We're going to take a break, get you the news, come back. We're going to talk some football with Dr. Football in the house. We'll talk about the NFL playoffs, his thoughts on the wild card round. Shanahan, perhaps junior and senior, heading somewhere as a package deal, and then that would leave the Browns with a hole to fill at offensive coordinator. Some people say, do us a favor. Some people don't like it. We'll talk about that coming back. Johnny Manziel's in Houston. You already know that because he was in the news, of course. We'll talk some football, NFL, and more with Dr. Football coming up next.
Grass monkey, donkey, that funky monkey. Grass monkey, that funky monkey.
The Sports Fix, your choice for intelligent talk.
I'm expecting a very important delivery at the house, so could you please call me if it arrives? I'll give you my cell number. 401-555-1125.
440.
No, I was just repeating the 4. 1-4.
1-4.
Intelligent talk.
Okay, 1125.
1125. 155.
I'm not giving you quantities of the numbers. I'm giving you the numbers. 1125. Those are the last 4 numbers.
Oh, I see. 1125.
Yes. All right. Now read the number back to me.
Let me get my pen.
The Sports Fix will be right back.
Hi, this is Joe Tate, and you're listening to The Sports Fix.
Business owners and professionals, do you want to take your business, your product, your team, your event to the next level? You want to advertise right here with the Sports Fix. Our listeners are among the most loyal listeners, terrestrial or internet. The Sports Fix universe is not only the radio show, but tens of thousands of fans on Facebook and Twitter. Email me, Jerry Myers, thesportsfix@AOL.com. That's thesportsfix@AOL.com. And let me help you swing for the fences and hit it out of the park right here on the Sports Fix. Whether it's an oil change or a new set of tires, Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck has you covered for your automotive car care needs. They're your neighborhood quick service experts. They also offer a low price tire guarantee. Choose from 13 brands, and if you find the same tires at a lower price within 30 days, Quick Lane at Valley Ford will refund the difference. They're open late Monday through Thursday until 9 p.m. and open early Saturday so you can check it off your to-do list and get on with your day. They also have a newly remodeled service lounge and additional service bay just for Quick Lane oil changes. Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck is located at 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 Bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 Bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. Come see why life is better in the Quick Lane. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck. That's QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Harry Buffalo. Harry Buffalo, join the herd.
News break. I'm Bob Picozzi with a college football report. Oregon will be looking for its first national championship. Ohio State seeking title number 6. The Ducks and the Buckeyes will square off next Monday night at Cowboy Stadium in the first college football playoff championship game, 8:30 Eastern Time on ESPN TV, 7 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN Radio. Appearing on ESPN's Championship Drive podcast, ESPN analyst Brad Edwards says he thinks it will be a long night for both defenses.
I do feel this being what Vegas is kind of projecting it to be, which is a shootout. I really have a hard time seeing anyone slow down Oregon's offense. And look, for as well as Ohio State played defensively for a lot of that game against Alabama, they still gave up 35 points. And yes, a couple of those were on short fields, but Alabama also had opportunities to score more points. So, look, Oregon's going to score.
After losing quarterback Braxton Miller to a preseason injury, backup quarterback J.T. Barrett to a late season injury, the Buckeyes have turned the keys to their offense over to Cardell Jones. And ESPN's Reese Davis says not everyone could handle this.
Some guys need to be needed. They need to be counted on. And it's not that they're trying to blow it off or pout, although some do. It's not that they're trying to blow it off or pout if they're not the starter. It's just that they respond better, when somebody gives them the reins. And it appears, at least with this small sample size we have, that Cardell Jones is Exhibit A of a guy who just responds better when he's being counted on.
It will be the 9th meeting on the gridiron between Ohio State and Oregon. The Buckeyes have won the first 8, but the Ducks have been installed as an early 7-point favorite by Vegas. And we will have much more on the College Football Playoff Championship game during the 6 p.m. Eastern Time Sports Center on ESPN TV.
You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix, streaming live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you, and real quick, going to be joined by Dr. Football here in a moment. But before we shift gears, I just want to tag back to what Jeff Gorman and I were talking about in the previous segment. Talking, and we're just two guys, just like you guys, bouncing around. At the end of the day, and Jason Stark had an interesting editorial about his Hall of Fame voting and how he thought about the process, but some great points to be made is the changes from year to year. Like, I understand taking a couple of years to talk yourself into a guy being a Hall of Famer, but some of these voters, and this is where I don't like the voting process, they go up and down, they go back and forth like the wind, and how does a guy how do you keep changing your thoughts on a guy? Here's my example: Fred McGriff, Edgar Martinez, Alan Trammell, 3 borderline guys who have gotten some votes, who some people feel very strongly about, some people don't. Last year, they lost almost 200 combined votes between the two of them. Did nothing different from the year before. Those voters just had other people that they wanted to vote for. That's where the 10-name limit kind of, hurts some of the middle rank, the guys that are right there, not the over-the-top guys. Obviously, the big-name guys don't have to worry about that. But we'll see. We'll see what they do here this year. I mean, the thing is, and here's the thing that people need to forget, just when fans are having these conversations, is all of these cats are great. All of these cats were the greatest at what they did at various points in their careers or on that list. And the Hall of Fame is separating out the best of the best. Even the ones that fall short are still at the very top of what they did. And anyway, so we'll pick up with that and we'll talk some more. Maybe before we're off the air, we may even have that balloting coming in and we may be able to wrap up the show knowing which way the vote went. Either way, if not, we'll talk about it tomorrow. And we've got Mike Brandenberry coming on later this week from didthetryWinLastNight.com to get his thoughts on the same thing. You give us your thoughts, as always. Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. You hear the music, you see the day of the week, you know what time it is. Time to talk some football when the doctor's in the house. Dr. Football, my man Bill Chachkes is going to join us here. Wild card weekend in the books, controversy in Dallas, but we head on to the divisional round of the playoffs where all the big dogs are standing and waiting. Some great football set to be played this weekend. There's stuff going on, believe it or not, in Brownstown and more. Let's do it. Dr. Football in the house, on the phones. Bill Chachkes. Bill, how you doing?
J-Rock, how's it going today on this frigid Tuesday morning in Arizona?
Yeah, it's frigid here, too. We're in the single digits here in Northeast Ohio, my friend. So I don't know how cold frigid is in Arizona, but frigid is truly frigid here in Cleveland.
Well, we had 7 inches of snow on Wednesday and Thursday for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. It's warmed up a little bit since then, but we're still starting the day out below freezing. So certainly not Cleveland, but definitely uncharacteristic weather for northern Arizona, even at this time of the year. But hey, man, we got a lot going on, man. This is one of my favorite times of the year. NFL playoffs, college bowl games completed. We're just waiting for that national. It's time for me to get going and do my work for the next.
I mean, that's what these bowl games are big for. Everybody I love bowl season because that's when I start getting tweets and messages all the time. Guys will see a guy for the first time and they'll be like, "Hey, man, Browns got to go draft that wide receiver from Rutgers or whatever," because they just got done watching the Weed Eater Bowl or whatever. And but that is where people start to get in that because that's what the bowl games are for a lot of people around, at least Northeast Ohio. Is, hey, who can we start drafting for the Browns? But you are right. Time to start getting into that for some teams, but not for all teams, man, as there's a lot of football. I'm with you. I said it always. Wild card weekend and divisional weekend. Those two, when you've got the sets of 4 games, those are my favorite 2 playoff weekends of all of it. I mean, obviously the Super Bowl is a big deal, but I love those because you've got 2 days, both with 2 games. They're spotlighted. They're all by themselves. And boom. So going to be a lot of fun this weekend as you're down to the final 8 teams here in the march to the Super Bowl. But before we talk NFL, you mentioned it, talk about that national title, one last bowl game left. Oregon, Ohio State. What do you think, my man?
You know, I think OSU is probably still a year away from being that championship team. You know, I just think Oregon's very, very strong. That's not to say that it's not going to be a very good game. It is going to be a very good game. I don't think it'll be the defensive game that a lot of people are talking about. I think this gets into a shootout, and the team that starts the shootout first is the team with the advantage. So for Ohio State to be successful and make me eat my words and be the national champions, Meyer has to get it going early with the offense. He's got to use the 3 and 4 receiver sets, and he's got to switch up with the play action, you know, short passes to the running back or rollouts, you know, pro rollouts to the receiver downfield. That's the only way you're going to beat Oregon is if you can spread the defense out.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I think Ohio State can take care of business. I think I like the fact that they're coming in underdogs once again. And Dan Wismar put it best yesterday, man. They knocked off Alabama. Buckeyes are playing with house money here. I think Cardale Jones is coming in with a chip on his shoulder, and everybody's looking past these Bucks. They're dangerous here because all the pressure is on Oregon, in my opinion. And so it's going to be a good game, but I think the Buckeyes shock the world, man, and take care of business. They knocked off Bama. I think they can knock off Oregon too.
That's a good point. Like I said, it's going to come down to game time. I don't think either team has the overwhelming advantage. That's what the good thing about this game is going to be. It's not going to be a blowout. It will be a high-scoring game, but I can't see it being a blowout for one team.
I'm with you on that. Going to be a lot of fun next Monday as we get national championship game following a playoff for the first thing, too. I think everybody saw that was a good thing that had been a long time coming, and now it's like any time change works, and then people go, what did we wait so long for, man? And now they'll quickly start working over the next couple of years to figure out how to turn 4 teams into 6 teams or 8 teams or whatever, and they'll continue to grow that thing until we've got March Madness in December and January.
There you go.
They're not stupid. They're going to figure it out eventually. As soon as they figure it out, how to make money and not act like they don't care, which they don't, but not act like they don't care about the student athlete, then they'll do it. And now they'll figure that out. But it is fun for the fan. It's great for the sports aspect of it. Been a lot of fun, the build up to it. And now you've got the first ever +1 game, as they say, coming up here. Then you've got the NFL. Let's switch over now what we're supposed to talk about. I don't know where to go first here. Do we talk about Browns problems or the NFL playoffs, man? Well, we'll save Johnny at the bar for later, man. Let's talk NFL playoffs. playoffs real quick as we look. Obviously, the big controversy that came out from that Dallas-Detroit game,